Finally, a gospel. This is the update for Thursday, April 9th in our New Testament by Pentecost reading challenge, and today we begin the Gospel of Mark. I'm sure you'll enjoy the more familiar narratives found here. However, notice how sparsely Mark is told. Particularly in today's reading, roughly the first half of the Gospel, it may feel like we're on fast forward, quickly jumping through scenes of a familiar movie. Most scholars think the Gospel of Mark was written just before or just after 70 AD. We'll focus more on that tomorrow, but suffice it to say it was a traumatic time in Jewish history, and Mark reflects these conflicts. The location and even the specific author are uncertain. Several attempts to definitively identify a Markan community have come up short. Borg suggests it was probably written in northern Galilee. Others posit ties to an early leader, such as the John Mark that we'll read about in Acts. And remember yesterday's comment about naming one's writings after one's teacher. While the uncertainty surprises us, remember that the author did not write the Gospel according to Mark on the first line and then sign it. In fact, Borg notes that the traditional names of the four Gospels were not assigned to the Gospels until the 2nd century, as a way to distinguish them as collections began coming together. A major focus of Mark is presenting Jesus as the way, and as the incarnate announcement of the kingdom of God. Mark uses a threefold narrative pattern, with several inclusios, that is, where one story frames or brackets another, and the two thus help to interpret each other. The overview is a beginning in Galilee, where most of Jesus' public activity happens. That's today's readings. Then tomorrow, a journey to Jerusalem for Passover, Jesus' final week, including confrontation with authorities, execution, and the discovery of an empty tomb. A fitting read in this most unusual of Holy Weeks. To those of us more used to hearing and reading Matthew and Luke, Mark's Gospel is striking both because of what it does and does not include. There's no birth narrative, no Lord's Prayer, far fewer parables, not really any resurrection appearance stories. Even in what Mark does tell, the reader is often expected to fill in some blanks, make some choices, and respond. This is not a text to be heard passively, but an invitation to a personal response. Let the reader understand. However, when you fill in the blanks, I encourage you to not simply do so with information you know from other Gospels, but by paying close attention to what the text does present and your emotional and intellectual reaction to it. Who is this Jesus, according to Mark? Why follow him? Note that we are now a full generation removed from Jesus' human life. The distinct term Christian is just now coming into use, first in the city of Antioch, and these fledgling communities are increasingly separated from the life of the synagogues. Blessings on your reading. Enjoy the Gospel.